y'all, Shadowsun here. Welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone is doing well. So in today's video, I want to share a few spells that I've cast over the last couple of years. I felt inspired to share them because I feel like they could help some people, and some of these go into like pre-pandemic workings that I've done as well, and a lot of them have manifested, so I don't need to worry about sharing anything that is still going on, and I'm only sharing parts of it, not the whole thing. I'm not giving you the spell here, but if you want information on that, I will be happy to provide insight, at least in terms of how one can do some of these spells. Anyhow, any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I encourage you to read the blog post and check out the videos in the description below, because I am mentioning a little bit on mental health, because that's one of the main things I've been working on. I also mentioned in the blog post the weather, because the weather is crazy everywhere. We've got fires in Greece and everything that's going on in the northeast part of the US, and of course New Orleans. I've been doing stuff for that as well, sending protection and other things as well to help as much as I can from where I am. And also we're having fires where I am as well. We've had a weird weather pattern in the last couple weeks. We went from 60s Fahrenheit slash early 20s Celsius, about 21 or so, rough estimation, not very good at the conversions. Anyhow, and fires have been just crazy here. So that has been a huge thing, which is why I mentioned it in this video and in the blog post. So the first couple of spells, like I said, in the post, I mentioned, doing spells for prosperity and protection and mental health and theft and anxiety and things like that. So I'm going to mention a few of those. Protection being the first on that list. I've done a multitude of protection spells, like I said, for what's going on in Greece and New Orleans and the Northeast. This is just more recently. A lot of them have seemed to come in terms of manifestation. Also, please ignore the background noise. With protection spells, I've done crystal grids for protection. I've done protection of my home. I've done protection against theft, using just everyday objects that I wanted protection from. Like if I want to make sure that the objects are protected, I have used objects that I've gone out traveling with, in addition to mundane tasks like locking my door when I leave, checking security systems if that's in place, so on and so forth, which all I think can be turned into magical acts, which I will go into in a separate video as well. In terms of other protection spells, I've done like candle spells for protection. I've done spell jars including protection. I didn't mention those in the post, but I have. I've done wards on my home. When I go out, I make sure I know what's on me in terms of theft, and I make sure the things I'm carrying are, I'm aware of my surroundings, and I'm aware of what I'm carrying with me, and how I present myself and so on. Further, I have done protection spells in involving, like I said, everyday objects. So I have protection with the stuff I carry. So I walk with a white cane, so I've used that as part of the spell. I've used masks, enchanting masks for health protection, physical health protection. I've used other objects like house keys and things like that I carry with me every day, that are on my person, so they're exposed to my energy, and I do spells related with those objects. So those are some of the ways I've done some protection spells. Also, I have done a lot concerning mental health, and I encourage you to check out the videos listed in the description, because you will see one mentioning crystals and one mentioning just magic and mental health in general. So, and I also have a blog post with one of those videos as well. One of the things that I have done as far as like mental health is, spells related to anxiety, crystal grid for anxiety. I've done crystals as part of larger spells. I've done candle spells for reducing emotional distress. I've used crystals, and also just keep in mind mundane actions, understanding why I'm feeling those emotions in the moment, grounding techniques like stuff I've learned in therapy, but also just actual energetic grounding techniques. One of the grounding techniques I learned is the tree visualization, but I've also done other grounding techniques in addition to those that I just mentioned. I have also used banishing magic or banishing spells to remove emotional issues and negativity around me. This does not remove those emotions. You know, I'm a human being, I'm gonna still feel those emotions, but it's to help me understand why those emotions are coming up and getting to those roots of those emotions. I have done, carrying items with me to, again, like reduce panic attacks and anxiety. Additionally, I have used spells to help and understand and clarity for depression and just lifting my mood, along with, again, things I've done in therapy and making sure I'm getting the right amount of sleep and exercise. And the final point I want to mention is prosperity. So I've done a lot of that. I think it goes without saying that many people have been struggling not only with mental health, but just, I know tons of people who've either lost their jobs or struggling to find employment. I'm looking for employment. So I have done so much around employment, and even before the pandemic, I was doing stuff around, confidence and success. I've done like spells for success and spells, related with candles and crystals, using candles and candle magic to, promote success and promote confidence during interviews. I've enchanted objects that I've worn, like jewelry, for, during interviews. I've done spells to find employment. I've done crystal grids to promote motivation and success. I've done spells around, removing blocks and obstacles. So these are just some of them, but there's so many different ways to go about it that, I can go on a whole list on doing all these different spells, but I just wanted to share a few of those. One of the other ones that I wanted to mention was I have done a spell for, like I mentioned, employment. And when I did this spell, it took me a little bit. A lot of these spells were done like over the long term, so it took me a little while. I did one for it, and what I did was I used like a combination of candle magic and crystals, and I essentially made a grid around it, and I put a candle in front of it, and I used yellow because I associate yellow with success and the sun. The sun makes me feel that sort of like confidence, motivational energy. So I worked with that energy and did a spell for that. I wrote an incantation that I used, so on and so forth. And a lot of the crystals that I used for that spell I still use when I do spells related to employment. And they've all worked to some degree or the other, and things just kind of worked out in their own way and in their own time. So I could go on these different spells and workings that I've done, but I think that this is good enough for now. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that sharing this has helped someone maybe in their practice, something they've never tried, or just, sharing just to share my experience with these types of workings. So hope you all are having a good one. I will speak to you all soon. If you like what you've seen, please like, share, and subscribe, and I highly recommend, again, checking out the blog posts and videos mentioned in this video. Speak soon, and many blessings.